Diamond, favorite subject and why?
I'd probably say psychology. I just happen to have an amazing psychology teacher. He taught all of those classes, sociology, psychology. I took them all. I think it's a good trait to have to be able to understand people. Um, it makes you value people more. So math was my second favorite because I like that there's something either right or wrong, and there's a beginning and an end, and you know how to get to it. And if there's something wrong, you know there's a way to fix the mistake. So psychology and math were both my two favorites. I love gym too, but I played a lot of sports. I didn't always need gym.
Harvey.
My favorite subject was probably history, and that's one of the reasons that I volunteer at the Milton House. One of the reasons that I submitted an application to serve on the Historic Preservation Committee. I think it's very helpful. In they always say if you don't know history, you're going to repeat the same history over again. And I think if we don't know where we've been and why we've been there, we can't move forward. So history to me is a key.
Joe.
Well, I think most of you expect that I'm going to say ag class, but while I dearly enjoyed that and it became my life's work, I'll offer an alternative, biology. And funny how my industry has trended toward a science-based occupation that it maybe wasn't a generation ago. It was really driven by the teacher. And most of my fondest recollections of school are jaded or colored, if you will, by the teachers. And I had, any of you in my era would know Doc Swain, that spent 35 years teaching up here and was one of the very, very best teachers we've had. He and I just connected, and he had a unique way of spilling life experiences into a classroom that just impacted me tremendously.
Shelley.
Okay, mine would have been science, particularly biology also. I had Mr. Pedersen, Mr. DeRubis at Craig High School, and it was Mr. DeRubis nominating me to be a Janesville Outdoor Lab guide for fifth graders when I was in high school that kind of set my area of medical field science. I'm a science teacher now. The other one would have been algebra at Marshall Middle School down in Maine when we were at the old school at Mansfield. Dr. Kramer. And he just challenged me. He always called me Michael Cruel instead of Michelle Krull, or Krull at the time. So he always called me Michael. And I've gotten to work with him in my profession now. He's a retired teacher, and I've got to work with him over the years. So it's been very exciting. And it is. Teachers make all the difference.
Yes. All right. Want to say closing arguments. Diamond McKenna, 2 minutes.
Again, thank you to Danny and the Chamber for putting this on, and for all of you for sitting here through this tonight. I had a beginning prepared, but not an end. I kind of just wanted to see how the night went. I started wanting to run for the school board because I was unhappy with the culture when I would leave board meetings. Just the environment that I left behind just didn't really sit well with me, and I wanted to be part of that change. And throughout the last few months, I've had the ability to go out and meet a lot of people in the community. There's a lot of faces here that are familiar, and there's a lot that aren't. And I hope tonight I have a chance to meet some of you. With that, I've heard a lot of things about the community that's drawn that passion for the community, that's truly inspiring and kind of pushes you to keep going out when it's snowing and knocking on doors and attending events. My one reason to run, or not one reason, but my most important reason, has grown into multiple reasons. I really want to be the voice of the community and truly listen and truly put forth ideas that represent our community as a whole. Also, I'd like to take the time to clear some things up. I think this is a good platform for it. There has been some candidates that have said some things in the media, and social media in particular, stating that I am bought and paid for by special interest groups. And it's not that I don't support any interest groups in Milton. I support all of our community members, no matter where you stand. But unfortunately, I have not actually participated in any of those interest groups. But I do appreciate, and I'm honored by the support that I've gained from all members of the community, and I don't want that to be shadowed by inaccurate statements. So I appreciate the support, I'm humbled by the support, and I truly hope that I can meet more of you to gain even more support so we can make our board go in a better direction. Thank you. And vote. Go out and vote for me. I'd appreciate it.
Just speaking for myself, I don't put that much faith in social media. Harvey, 2-minute closing statement.
I don't even have social media. Milton is kind of at a crossroads, but the good news is, come April 3rd, we can choose the path that we wish to take. If we vote for the status quo, we're going to see a third, a fourth, maybe a fifth referendum. Most of the other candidates, aside from myself and Brian, have expressed an interest in going towards another referendum. If you vote for the status quo, you're voting to continue the dysfunction that currently exists on our school board. You'd be voting for someone who, by their very actions, has demonstrated that they're not willing to listen to you, they're not going to work with you, they don't represent you, and as a result of all that, ultimately, they don't respect you. I think we as a community have tried to get the board to change course. We voted down one referendum. We voted down a second referendum. We voted down the purchase of the Hawk Zone. We've expressed our concerns both in writing and in person at board meetings. Time and time again, we have sent this board a message. The message has been, start working with us and not dividing us. And time again, the board has ignored this message. There is only one path forward now, and that is to change the makeup of the board. I hope you'll consider electing me as part of this change. I'm running as an independent voice, not as a part of a ticket. I've not accepted any outside money, nor have I been endorsed by any outside groups. I am accountable only to you, the voters. And while it may sound cliche, what you see is what you get. If you vote for me, you know you're voting for someone who values transparency, who values collaboration. So get out and vote.
I wonder what you're like in a retail store, you know? Joe.
I think I'll start by sharing with you something I've heard from outside the community. I have the luxury of having several college peers that serve on school boards around the state. And they've followed the dialogue here in Milton from afar at best. But I get asked, what's wrong with Milton? And my first answer was, I don't know, I just didn't have an answer. But I really came to a very clear distinction there. There's nothing wrong with Milton. It's a community that, as you've heard tonight, both from the city folks and the school board candidates here, we care. It's passion, it's involvement, it's being part of that community in many different facets. So this isn't as broken as some folks would like to think. We got differences, we'll figure them out. We got a lot to build on. We've got a rich, proud history here. And like I alluded to before, the path forward is probably illuminated by some of what we've gone through in the past. I don't have the same viewpoints as some of the other candidates do on what that actually seems like to the rest of the community. I hope you saw the symbolism in shaking hands with Harvey. We can be different, but we can agree. There's a middle ground, there's a path forward. I'm an optimist, we will find it.
Shelley.
Hi, I'd like to first address the comments made by two candidates here on my conflict of interest. I never even thought of what the accusations are of the conflict of interest. I'm doing my job as a board member. If I did not vote and did not participate and did not engage, I would not have been doing my job as a board member. It's easy to have all the answers in the audience. I always say at a game, I'm the best coach, player, referee sitting in the stands because you know everything when you're out there because it's really easy to make, criticisms. The negativity that is commented and keeps pursuing here, if any of these people get on the board as new members, they're going to have to work with veteran members. And they've already kind of disdained the relationship by criticizing and being negative and critical and commenting about trust. There's still going to be 3 board members on there that are returning board members, 3 or 4, I can't remember. So they need to think about that. I feel like I'm coming with no agenda to the board. All of my decisions I'm making have no effect on my children. They're going to be out of school. I'm looking at the big picture of Milton. You cannot look, like I said, at a building, a pool, one, blinded vision. You have to look at the whole K-12 plan. And it's not that we're not listening to people. I'm listening to lots of people. I have people telling me what's positive about our district. I have people coming up. I'm talking to students. I'm talking to parents. I can't say that's true all the time for other people in the community. I think by giving your ideas, sending us information, I respond to emails. I respond to the one phone call I've gotten since I've been on the board. And I, again, like McKenna says, you find, or Diamond says, you find out the answers and get back to them or figure out what you can do, because you don't know all the answers. I look forward to serving a second term, and I would hope that you would choose to elect me to a second term. I bring experience from my public education knowledge. I utilize my knowledge and experience in working with everybody that's in the district. Any of the things I do in my professional job only add to my board job.
And Brian, you get the last word tonight.
Is this a 1 minute or a 2 minute? 2. Okay.
Still the bell goes.
Okay. First, I want to thank the chamber and everybody that came. Thank you for coming. It's a privilege and an honor to be here and see everybody, that cares so much and giving me the opportunity to speak, and everybody that's watching on live stream. I think I'm kind of like Joe. I'm an optimist. I really think, and I said this December over a year ago to the board, I think we're at a really good position where we can be Milton School District, because we're having challenges right now. I think we have an opportunity to be viewed as the best practice in the state, like a spot of excellence, because I think we can go and to the next level and get all these all these challenges solved through the engagement of the community. I am very hopeful and optimistic of the school district not only being as good as it is now, but even being better. But we can't continue business as usual. Right now, we have a board that has not been willing to compromise on anything. There's been some allegations, false allegations made to various members, as well as some pretty nasty things. So we can't continue business as usual. And so because of that, I do think we need a new set of people on the board. Hopefully, I will still remain on the board, so I won't be the different person, but I do think there's good times ahead of us, and I still want to continue to be a servant to the community, and I encourage everybody to go out and vote on April 3rd. And if you vote for me, I will consider it an honor and a privilege, and I will do my best to serve you. Thank you.
All right, you guys have been great. Thank you so much. We appreciate all your hard work so far, and whoever's elected, we appreciate that as well. It's very commendable that you've gone through the effort, the time, and the conviction to run for school board. Thanks to you guys. You're now informed voters. And that is tonight's forum. Danny Stavarius from the Chamber would like to say something.
I just want to thank everyone for coming again and staying the whole time for the forum. And I hope that my opening statements kind of set home with you. As you can see up here tonight on the panel, there are a lot of hurt feelings, a lot of misled statements. So I hope as a community that we can all start going forward with an open mind and just stop all the negativity and be kind and be generous. Thank you.